Have you ever doubted yourself? Have you ever thought, I'm not good enough? I can't do this. What if I fail? Those are limiting beliefs. Hello, my name is Brendan, and today we are going to talk about limiting beliefs, how they affect you, and how we can overcome them. But first, I'd really appreciate it if you would just push the like button, and how about put a comment in the comment section below. Could be everything from you like the video to you hate my shirt, or in actual fact, you've got any comments on the picture behind me. But regardless, talking about limiting beliefs. As the name suggests, these are things we think about that constrain us in some sort of way. It's the monkey on our shoulder, as Stephen Peters would say in the Chimp Paradox, that's just talking away and telling us that we're not good enough. Often, limiting beliefs manifest themselves in self-identity problems or influence what we think about ourselves. Can you think of an example whereby you've thought, I can't do it? What happens if? I'm not good enough. I'm not able to. What if somebody laughs? All of these thought processes manifest themselves through limiting beliefs. A little example from me is, in actual fact, doing this. Putting myself out there on a YouTube video, talking about things that matter to me and hopefully will help you become great leaders. The thought process does go through your mind of saying, well, what happens if nobody watches it? What if somebody turns around and tells me they're shit? That can be quite hard to overcome. But if you always give in to the thoughts inside your head that are doubting you, then you just won't get to where you want to be. Because ultimately, there are two types of limiting beliefs. There's a destination belief and a directional belief. The directional belief, funnily enough, are a bit like road signs that point you towards your destination. Funny that. The destination belief is what you think about of where you want to be. So if we think about it, if you want to set out and you want to learn to play the piano, your destination is to be a, grade 3 or 4 pianist. Happy days. That's where you want to get to. Now immediately the limiting belief might start saying, you can't do it. You've never been very good at musical instruments. You always give up on practice. In actual fact, you've always been told that you'd never be good at it. So in actual fact, don't bother. That's it. Limiting belief wins. So limiting belief 1, personal endeavour 0. That's not good. Directional beliefs are the beliefs in order to take you on that journey. So the road signs in terms of taking you there. They could be everything from, can you find a pianist or a piano teacher? No, actually, I don't want to speak to anybody. I don't want to put myself out there. You do find a teacher and all of a sudden you start learning and then you begin to doubt yourself around, can you do it? Are you able to do the exercises? Can you commit to it? These are all the road signs that are directing you towards your destination. One thing to note, limiting beliefs are massively interlinked with the comfort zone. Why do I tell you this? Well, harsh but fair, the comfort zone is where dreams and ambitions go to die. Why do I say this? Well, because the comfort zone is the easy place. Why put yourself outside of the comfort zone if it's opening yourself up for failure, opening yourself up for things to go wrong, for people to question you, or for people to ask what's going on, or for things just to be outside of your control? That's why the comfort zone is a really important aspect of this. Our limiting beliefs are all around creating resilience in our thought process and being able to help us move forward. Because more often than not, as humans, we have a tendency to move away from pain. It might not necessarily be towards pleasure, but it's generally you don't want to avoid the pain. Take fitness as an example. Lots of us want to get fit and healthy. We might want to lose a few pounds. We might want to be able to run a 5K. We might want to be able to swim a few laps of the pool. But the act of getting off the sofa and doing it for the first time is painful. Because I have no doubt that the first time you lace up your trainers and you run out the door, it's going to hurt. It's going to be horrible. Chances are you are not wanting to do it again. But if we are told that our health is at stake by our doctors because we need to lose a few pounds and become more fit and healthy, which is worse? Are we going to avoid the running because it's painful? Or are we going to avoid the potential health implications in the future that may or may not arise? Chances are you'll probably make an excuse of not going for a run because it's raining outside. I'll do it tomorrow. I'd rather do some reading, or I'd rather sit and watch Netflix. We haven't moved towards the pleasure, we've just avoided the pain. Limiting beliefs are part of that thought process. The comfort zone engulfs you and says, actually, stay here, stay warm. Why go outside? You'll be fine. We'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. I know that's a cheesy James Bond reference, but it is kind of true. So, without wallowing in it, what can we do to reverse our limiting beliefs? Funny you should ask that, because I've got 4 ways of tackling it. Number 1, next time you have a limiting belief, stop and reflect. I've talked in the past around a technique called noticing and naming. We use it from a nutrition coaching perspective, whereby if you are making a particular food choice, you notice and name what you're having and how it makes you feel. Well, funnily enough, the same thing works for limiting beliefs. Take a moment to understand the situation, what caused it, and how you're feeling at that moment. What does that limiting belief invoke in you? More often, more than that, I need you to write it down, because writing it down makes it more real. I want you to then go one step further and say it out loud. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Why? It will make you feel a bit silly, I know. Perhaps do it in the comfort of your own home or when nobody else is listening. But you need to say it out loud, because by doing so, it will help resonate that situation. You need to acknowledge the situation that's causing you to doubt yourself. So, number 1, stop and reflect. Number 2, you really need to understand that your thoughts are not the truths. Let me say that again. Your thoughts are not the truths. What I mean by that is, what you're thinking isn't necessarily true. Just put aside the fact that the President of the United States definitely falls into that bracket, but I'm not wishing to get political now. But for you, what you believe is not necessarily true. We can see it in many scenarios. People have a fear of flying. Why do they fear flying? Because they think the plane is going to fall out of the sky. Okay, that's a thought process, but the truth is, and I don't have the stats to hand, but plane travel is one of the safest forms of transportation. Okay, so we're automatically saying that our thoughts, the plane's going to fall out of the sky and I can't control it, and all of a sudden you get worked up. The truth is, statistically, you're going to be fine. Your thoughts begin to elicit emotions, and those emotions begin to influence the truth. Think about that. The truth then becomes warped or changed or altered in your own mind because of your emotions and because of your beliefs. It will boil down to, are you willing to try and defend your limiting beliefs, or are you going to move towards achieving your goals? Because what we're trying to do here is to strip down what is actually fact and what is fiction. Having clarity will help move you forward, but I really want you to acknowledge that what you believe isn't necessarily the truth. Number 3 ties in really closely, because that is all around looking for evidence. If you convince yourself that this thought process is true, what's the evidence to support that? What can you prove to yourself unequivocally, objectively, that is helping support your belief that you cannot do it? Let's take learning the piano as the example again. Who's turned around to you and said you can't do it? Okay, what proof is there? We've all seen keyboard warriors comment over Twitter and people slander over social media because it's easy when they're not putting themselves out there. But what is actually the evidence proving that you cannot do it? I don't know. I'm pretty certain that if you spent the time and effort and commitment to it, you could probably learn to play the piano. In actual fact, I wish I'd learned to play the piano and the lead guitar and the drums and basically been in a rock band. But I can't sing and I can't, so let's leave that one to one side. Have you convinced yourself, without evidence, that your belief is true? So number 3, Look for the evidence that will either prove or disprove what you believe. Now, number 4 is massively important because it's all around taking back control. Now, it's not just about taking control. I want you to take action, because taking action means that you begin to move forward. Perfection is the killer of progress. You know what? Don't wait for everything to be perfect, because it never will. You've just got to take action. In the same way that with these YouTube videos, I just had an effort moment where I was like, okay, just going to do it. Just going to put myself out there, going to record a video and stick it out there and see if it works. It's taking control. You can't blame others for what's happening to you. You might be in a really shitty situation, and I'm sorry about that. But don't blame others. What's in your control? What can you do to change the situation? There's always choice. They might be tough, but there is always choice. A thought is just a thought. Now, by stopping, taking control and taking action, we could do something quite radical. We could start taking action in whatever our new belief is. So I believe that you can play the piano. Okay, so what can you do about it? Google how to play the piano. I'm sure there's plenty on YouTube and other social media platforms that will help you get started. But why not take action? Why not believe that you can do it? We've been through the confidence-competence loop in the past, and this is where it comes in. Take action. We can all sit here and read multiple books and think that we know a particular subject and we think we can know how to deal with the situation, but until you are thrown into it in the deep end, it's all just theoretical. As a very good friend of mine has realised over the last few weeks, is it's easy to begin to overthink things, but the moment you actually start doing, that's when the real lessons are learned. If we start to take action on our new belief, where can we get to? Well, that's entirely up to you. The point is, these 4 steps will help you begin to challenge your limiting beliefs. I'm sure that we can all identify with a limiting belief. To do that, we need to take a very honest look with ourselves. I can honestly tell you that I can think of a limiting belief that's manifested itself in the form of imposter syndrome. Or am I just a fraud and people are waiting to find out that in actual fact I can't do a lot of the things that I said I could do? I'm sure if you ask many successful people and those around you, have they experienced a limiting belief of their own, the chances are they'd say yes. So don't worry. Stop, take control, note it down, find some evidence, and then take action. Actually, I'm going to give you a Brucey bonus for number 5, because number 5 is talk to somebody. Now, as a life coach, I've seen this on numerous occasions. You know, how talking through with somebody can make a really big difference. I've also been through therapy, so I understand how these processes work. Giving you the time and space to open up, to be able to understand what's driving these limiting beliefs, is a really powerful process. Whether you talk to a good friend, a mentor, a guide, a coach, a therapist, a psychologist, whoever it might be, it's very specific for you and your situation. But number 5 is actually talk to somebody. Because, as Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and again and expecting a different result. So if you've done stuff before, what makes you think that this is going to be any different if you don't ask for help? Unlike Donald Trump, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength, because it's understanding that you can do better, that you need some help, and that you want to make progress. We all have the ability to change. I fundamentally believe that we are all capable of more than we realise. I've seen it from an Ironman perspective. I've seen it from people securing new jobs and moving overseas and finishing books. We are wonderful creatures. Sometimes we just need a little bit of a helping hand. I genuinely believe that in some way, shape or form, our limiting beliefs are probably holding us back in our lives. But we can tackle them. We can begin to address them. Small steps, but I definitely believe that we can help reverse these limiting beliefs and help you move towards your goals. So with that, if you haven't already pushed the subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it if you would. Please do write a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your limiting beliefs are. I'm more than happy to talk through and help where I can, because as a life coach, I know what it's like. That's probably a story for another day, but with that, Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.